Edge of Fate brought a bunch of new weapons with unique perk rolls that no other weapon can get. So in this video, I'm going to go over 20 of these unique weapons so you can keep an eye out for them. And stick around to the end of the video for a way to double this weapon's damage. I'm Marshix, and this is the only weapon that gets Headstone and Firefly. Headstone will create a stasis crystal with each precision kill, and Firefly will create a solar explosion with each precision kill. But when you combine these together, this will create a stasis crystal, then the explosion will deal just enough damage to instantly shatter the crystal, triggering certain effects like Tectonic Harvest to create stasis shards, Whisper of Shards to get faster grenades, and Whisper of Fissures for even bigger bursts. This is the only bow that gets kinetic trimmers with attrition orbs. Sustained damage with kinetic trimmers will make your target explode 3 times for a little bit extra AoE damage. This usually takes a while to activate, but since it's on a bow, it only takes 2 arrows to trigger the explosions. Then with attrition orbs, it will spawn an orb of power after 5 hits. However, kinetic trimmers hits 3 times, so it only takes 2 arrows to get the explosions and then the orb. Another weapon like this is Yeartide Apex. This also gets attrition orbs to spawn orbs of power with sustained damage, and Burning Ambition to apply Scorch with sustained damage. So just lay everything into one target and you'll get a ton of value. This is the only weapon that can freeze enemies by blocking. Aurora Dawn gets Cold Steel to freeze enemies as you deal damage, and Flash Counter to blind enemies whenever you block damage. But since Flash Counter deals a small amount of damage in the process, it will also apply the freeze from Cold Steel, allowing it to freeze things just by blocking, and it gets really crazy with Stronghold. Now, the fastest way to farm this is by running the K1 Logistics solo ops when it's the Hive variant. Destroy all the Hive gunk with one shot of Mint Retrograde, move on and complete the objective. Then at the boss, you can actually break through both of her immunity shields just by popping your super and throwing hammers. Now you just complete the activity as normal, and while we wait for that to finish, here's a piece of nostalgia that you don't want to miss. Raid Shadow Legends is doing something awesome and unexpected. Raid is a turn-based game with endless amounts of content. Start by playing the campaign, then as you level up, you'll gain access to dungeons, PvP, clan bosses, the Doom Tower, and so much more, with more content being added regularly, so you'll never get bored doing the same one activity over and over. My favorite is the clan boss, because I get to show off my team's insane damage and get some really awesome loot in the process. And Raid is having one of the coolest collab events right now. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are coming to Raid, including Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, April, and Shredder, all as legendary champions. I used to love watching Ninja Turtles growing up and collecting all the action figures, so this is such a fun and nostalgic crossover. Starting from August 21st to November 13th, you can get your hands on these champions. Starting with Michelangelo just by logging in for 7 days. He spreads debuffs, taunts enemies with trash talk, and dodges their attacks. Plus, you can fuse Donatello, a top support who heals allies and reduces cooldowns. You can summon Leonardo, Raphael, April, and Shredder through limited time events, and challenge Shredder in the event dungeon to earn the exclusive Chronophage gear set. And if you can collect all 6 of these champions, you'll unlock a special bonus reward that's better than pizza. So try the game right now. Just click the link in the description or scan this QR code on screen and you'll get some awesome bonuses to get you started, including the epic champion Tayrel, which is one of my favorite debuffers, as well as Rector Drath as a support when you reach level 15. And new players can also pick between 5 promo codes to unlock 1 free legendary champion: Green Warden Ruark, Alice the Wanderer, Tahanarak, Tholan Foulbeard, and Sun Wukong, which is the one I use the most since he can steal buffs from your opponents. Once you're in game, you can find me under the name Marshix Prime and join the Meerkat crew. Thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. This weapon makes grenade builds insane. Festival Flight is the Strand Area Denial Grenade Launcher, and this is the only damage over time weapon that gets Blast Distributor. Dealing sustained damage will give you stacks of Blast Distributor, and each stack will increase your grenade stat, going up to plus 65 grenade, which can result in a huge damage increase. Now, for most weapons, you would have to shoot them 5 times to get all the stacks, and that can take a while. But since this deals damage over time, you only need to get 1 shot, and it'll build up all 5 stacks on its own, making it really easy to have max damage grenades with very little investment. This is the only grenade launcher that can hold 4 shots at once. Psychopomp is the Arc Area Denial Grenade Launcher, and if you managed to get a shiny version last season, it got the Runneth Over origin trait, giving it 1 extra grenade whenever you reload near an ally. Then it could also drop with Ambitious Assassin to overfill the magazine after kills, allowing it to hold up to 2 more shots on top of that, bringing it up to 4 grenades per reload, which is crazy on a grenade launcher. Another crazy and unique grenade launcher is the new Outrageous Fortune. This can blow up entire rooms of enemies with only 1 shot. This can roll with Incandescent and Chain Reaction. Kills with Incandescent will spread Scorch to nearby enemies, and kills with Chain Reaction will make them explode. However, if they die from the Scorch, they will also trigger the explosion from Chain Reaction, and that Chain Reaction explosion will spread more Scorch. So as long as there are enemies close to each other, they'll keep blowing each other up until everything is dead. This is the only weapon with both Hatchling and Firefly. Hatchling spawns Threadlings with precision kills, and Firefly makes them explode. Both of these perks are very strong for ad clear and have the same requirements, so this generates a ton of value in low level content. It's also the only primary weapon that can give itself 2 stacks of elemental honing. This will give us a damage buff for each element we deal damage with. And because this is a strand weapon with Firefly, it will deal both solar and strand damage constantly, resulting in a nearly permanent 10% damage buff that can easily go up to 35% if you're running other elements. Another unique Firefly weapon is Unworthy. This is the only arc weapon with Firefly, and it also has access to another really strong ad clear perk in Volt Shot. So just get precision kills to create explosions and faster reload speed, then reload to jolt everything. I don't have this roll, so I can't really show it in action, but trust me bro. This rocket gets 2 of the same perk, sort of. Reaper's Tithe is a new damage perk, giving it increased damage after kills. Similar to Rampage, but it's much easier to use. Getting 3 kills with 1 rocket will give you max stacks. Then you can stow it and save it for later for a 40% damage buff, which is higher than most other damage perks. Then, since it is a raid weapon, it gets the Frame of Reference origin trait, which acts the exact same way. This will require 5 kills, but once again, you can stow it and pull it out later when you're ready for damage. This is only a 7% damage increase, but since it multiplies with Reaper's Tithe, it results in a total of 50% more damage, which is higher than any other rocket can get. Lionfish is the only rapid-fire fusion rifle with both Reconstruction and Chill Clip. Chill Clip will freeze enemies with the top half of the magazine, and Reconstruction will overfill the magazine to double capacity. Even though this is holding 16 shots at a time, the magazine size is still only 8, so every shot above 4 will apply freeze, giving us 12 back-to-back Chill Clips to freeze everything we encounter. And it gets Vice Stinger on top of that to also reload it before it gets low, and Temporal Loader to also reload it by shooting slowed and frozen targets. So you quite literally never have to reload this thing. This is the only hand cannon that gets rewind rounds and Vorpal Weapon. Why is this good? Well, it's perfect for Lucky Pants builds. Rewind rounds will allow it to shoot 64 shots without reloading. Perfect for damage phases. And Vorpal Weapon is a small damage buff on most weapons, but on primaries, it's a free 20% damage on all bosses, with no requirements and no downsides. And because it's a 2-round burst, it builds up stacks of Lucky Pants way faster than other hand cannons. And it's solar, so it makes you radiant with Fever and Chill in the artifact, making this one of the best hand cannons for DPS. Another great Lucky Pants hand cannon is Aureus Neutralizer. This is the only hand cannon with Cascade Point. Precision kills with other weapons make this weapon shoot really fast for a short time. So you get 1 kill, then mag dump a champion, and it's probably dead. It also gets Vorpal Weapon in the other column for that same 20% damage buff, and because it's a spread shot hand cannon, body shots can actually give you multiple stacks of Lucky Pants, so you just need to get a few body shots to get max stacks, then dump the rest into their face for insane burst damage with a primary. This is the only sniper rifle that can shoot 19 shots with only 5 ammo. Keen Thistle can get triple tap and 4th times the charm. Both of these perks generate ammo out of thin air with precision shots. Triple tap gives you 1 ammo every 3 shots, and 4th times gives you 2 ammo every 4 shots. So even though this can only hold 5 shots, it's generating so much ammo with its 2 perks that it's able to shoot 19 shots per magazine, 14 of which are completely free, giving this extremely high total damage for a special weapon. This is the only crossbow currently in the game, and it's actually really good. If you can get one with explosive bolts, it will deal 2 instances of damage. Because of this, you can throw on Temporal Blast to boost its damage by a lot. This will build up charges with damage, then explode once it reaches 5 stacks. Because the explosive bolt hits a second time, every single shot will activate Temporal Blast, making this hit really hard. Trackiness is the only rapid-fire slug shotgun. What does that mean? I don't really know because it hasn't been released yet. But a slug shotgun with Chill Clip will definitely be unique. Forgiveness is the only weapon to get Volt Shot in the 3rd perk column. This means it can drop alongside damage perks like Adrenaline Junkie, Desperate Measures, Kill Clip, or the highest damage perk, Surrounded. This is a 47% increase just by standing near 3 enemies, which you're going to be doing anyway with a sidearm. So not only are you going to have the best damage perk in the game, you'll also jolt everything for amazing ad clear too. This is the only primary weapon with Rolling Storm and Jolting Feedback. Both of these perks play into our arc subclasses, Rolling Storm for Bolt Charge and Jolting Feedback for Chain Lightning. So while these perks don't necessarily interact with one another, they're both really nice to have when building around arc abilities. Auric Disabler is the one and only weapon with Hatchling and Onslaught. Once again, these don't have any inherent synergy, but they're both really strong perks in PvE, and this is the first time ever that we're seeing them together. This is the only machine gun that gets 5 damage buffs. Unwavering Duty is the Trials machine gun, and it can roll with Rampage and Killing Tally. These both increase your damage by 30% each just by getting 3 kills. And it gets better because this gets access to the Temporal Blast mod, creating extra explosions for more damage, and these will scale with the damage of your weapons. So being that this is a heavy weapon, it will deal more than other weapons, and the 2 extra damage perks will increase that even further. So the explosion usually does this much damage, but after 3 kills, it goes up to this much damage. I don't have the god roll, so it should be higher, but you get the idea. Then on top of that, it is a solar weapon, so it will passively make us radiant using the Fever and Chill artifact mod. And we can throw in Actium War Rig for another damage buff, and so it never has to reload. So in total, this easily and reliably gets 5 damage buffs, significantly increasing its potential and making it easily the best machine gun in the game. I saw this originally from a small creator named Asdacross, so shout out to him.
I will personally lick your ass.
This is the only legendary weapon that truly never has to reload. But first, if you are enjoying this video, leave a like because I like likes. Mint Retrograde is the one and only rocket-assisted pulse rifle, and because of that, it has a weird interaction with rewind rounds. This is supposed to partially reload it each time you empty the magazine, and the more bullets that land, the more ammo you get back. But since it shoots 3 rockets per trigger pull, the game sees them all as individual shots, so rewind rounds gives us all of our ammo back. So as long as you're hitting most of your rockets, you literally never have to reload it. And similar to the Crossbow, this also activates Temporal Blast on every shot, skyrocketing its damage. And if you manage to get rewind with Elemental Honing, and deal damage with all 5 elements, you can push the damage even further with both it and the Temporal Explosion, taking it to almost double damage, and more than double damage if you're Radiant or applying a debuff. Now that you know about these weapons, it's time to farm. So click on this video for a tier 5 loot cave that gives you tons of loot every few minutes. Thanks for watching, I'm Marshix, and I'll see you next time. And don't forget to download Raid Shadow Legends using my link in the description to unlock some awesome bonuses in game.